Well, if you guys came here for more Tesla chaos, you're gonna get it today. So we'll talk about that specifically. And there's a special guest at the very end that you don't want to miss, guys. I mean, there is nobody more bullish on Tesla than this guy by a mile. Screw everybody on YouTube, on TV, whoever, doesn't matter. This guy blows them all out of the way with his bullishness, so you want to make sure you stick around for that. I just ask in exchange for you to gently tap that like button and consider subscribing too. It's super easy to do if you like the truth without the hype. And the response has been overwhelmingly positive to our new Essentials only tier that we added to the Market Insiders private group. I know the full membership wasn't right for everyone, so I wanted to make sure I added something that absolutely delivered value at a lower price point for you guys out there. And so far, it's doing great. So if you want access to lessons, tutorials, earnings previews, earnings reviews, what the heck the Fed's doing, my real raw reactions to it, all sorts of things like that. And you get a monthly Q&A with me where you can basically ask me anything you want. You want to ask about my dating life? Go ahead, no problem. You want to ask about stocks? The same exact thing as well. We talk real estate. We talk all kinds of things on those Q&As. So check out the link down in the pinned comment and see if a full membership or this new Essentials membership is right for you. All right, so let's jump into this craziness because I don't know. We just need more Tesla crazy in our lives. This is great.
What's in store for Tesla and Elon this year as the spike in the stock continues? We have a bull bear debate. Joining me now, our bear, GLJ Research CEO Gordon Johnson and Gerber Kawasaki CEO and well-known Tesla shareholder and bull owning 440,000 Tesla shares, Ross Gerber. Gordon, the stock has been a total winner year to date. I mean, well, actually, since it hit that low on January 6th. What is your case against Tesla at the moment?
Yeah, so the case against Tesla is simple. There's a couple of key things. Number one, Tesla no longer has a real-world range advantage based on Edmunds testing. Number two, they know...
Based on Edmunds testing? I don't know. I don't know how you don't have a real-world advantage in range based upon what, a magazine or news article says you do or don't have a competitive advantage in. And I don't know who's above them, and are they at scale? Is it across all their vehicles, just across one vehicle? I mean, I don't know. Is it some random, I don't know, other small player that now has? I have no idea what he's referring to. I wish we got more detail there. It's Gordon, though. I mean, come on.
Longer have a charging advantage. The Hyundai Ioniq has a 800-volt battery, charges quicker than Tesla. A lot of other cars do. Number three.
The Hyundai Ioniq, which I've actually seen a few of those and such. So that's one vehicle out of the, I don't know, what, 30 different offerings that are out there aside from Tesla. So congratulations. One has a faster charge on one vehicle in one tier. I don't know. That to me doesn't mean the stock is bad or it's a terrible stock or anything else like that. I don't know. We'll see what else he got here.
Glass and autonomous driving. And in fact, Mercedes now has level 3 ADAS on the road now where they take legal liability. Tesla does not. Number 4, their 4680 battery. Remember the last time we had this debate with Ross? He's
because Mercedes and Tesla are direct competitors, right? I don't know anything. I haven't heard about, Mercedes, you being able to get in the car, push the button, it just drives you everywhere you want to go. So I don't. Oh boy, here we go.
Their batteries are the best thing since Edison's light bulb. None of the promises they made at Battery Day they've achieved. And their nominal density is actually worse than Panasonic's current generation 2170 battery. So their batteries are actually worse than current generation batteries. So the point is, you have a company that we believe is going to see earnings decline roughly 25% this year, and I could run you through that math. So you have decline.
I would love to run through that math and explain to me how they're going to have earnings decline 25% this year. If you remember a couple of years ago, it was they were going to have revenue declines. That was actually in 2020. They were going to have huge revenue declines, I think right around the same percentage. And last time I checked, if that's revenue declines, I want that in every single stock that I own. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know where he gets his math. He just makes it up at this stage. So we all know he's a caricature. He's a cartoon. I can't lie and say he hadn't made a nice image out of it per se, a nice little business out of it per se, just being ridiculous to the other side. I guess you got bulls that are also ridiculous too. But he kind of went the opposite direction there and kind of went that way. So anyways, keep going.
You have market share collapsing in China, the U.S., and Europe. And you have lead times that are extended despite big price cuts. So I think they have problems.
Market share collapse. That's what Ross was getting all fired up about and such. Again, it's. I really think if you took him to court and you sued him, he would just say, "Nobody's going to believe what I said. Are you kidding me? Look at how ridiculous it was." And that would be the defense that he gave there in court, because it is just utterly ridiculous. Because it's just I didn't know that there was, they were just seeing market share decline. I haven't seen that. Nobody else has seen that. It's not on any of the actual data that's put out, but. Hey, it's Gordon, and again, it's. I think that would be his defense. Is nobody's going to believe it. It's just for entertainment.
Let me just bring up the scarcity premium issue. I do believe Gordon is either right or just about to definitely be right on that. You have a lot of companies coming out. Hyundai's coming out with the Ioniq, which hopefully is going to have a better price point than the Model Y. I drive a Tesla, and I'm looking for something a little bit better. What are you saying is the upside potential here? What's going to drive it for Tesla?
I would love to see this lady trade in her Model Y for an Ioniq, whatever the heck it is. I don't know. Not saying it's a bad car, not knocking it or anything else like that, but yeah, I doubt that's happening. If she's looking for that, that's good luck.
Well, I mean, first of all, the Ioniq is not even comparable to a Tesla Model Y. It's kind of a cheap car, and it looks like a cheap car, and inside and out, and the technology's antiquated. There are competitors that are starting to, come out. But as we've seen, most of them still have years before they can scale, with Ford now halting production of the Lightning because of issues that they're having scaling production. So Tesla still has a several.
So I like what he said right there, and it's true. Tesla has competitors will rise up eventually. They're behind, they're slow, they're having issues or whatever. Doesn't matter. Tesla's not going to be the lone winner and everybody else is going to be the loser. Competitors will come through and will rise up and such. So the bulls are wrong whenever they say, hey, there are no competitors. It's going to be only Tesla, and only Tesla's on the road. Worldwide Tesla, blah, 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 all the other garbage. It doesn't matter whether it happens here in the U.S. or it comes from another, China or some other place. Their vehicles all come here. Whatever the case is, it's not going to be just this lone ranger out there doing it by themselves. And the bulls are wrong, the bears are also wrong in trying to say the competition is coming, because outside of the Chinese EVs, and maybe a few others that I'm missing here, everybody else, at least here in the U.S., is way behind and years behind. And so are a lot of the European automakers as well. So that's silly talk too. So, the truth is right there in the middle somewhere, usually like it is in these type things.
Advantage in the scale and output of cars, which no other EV player is close. So if you want to buy an EV, Tesla is the way. Their battery technology is superior. They have Ram 4680, and we're now seeing them in cars coming out of Austin, and the price points are coming down and the costs are coming down. But the bottom line is Tesla still is the only game in the EV town, and now that they've shown that they can sell cars at a lower price, they're raising prices because demand is so heavy.
Well,
so Tesla's still in early innings of their growth story.
To that point, Gordon, there is something very disruptive about Tesla and the way they run their business. He can change prices on a dime, and that enrages some people who buy them at the higher price, and then 2 weeks later he gets a bad data point and he lowers the price. But what is the negative of that beyond what I've just articulated?
Yeah. I got to pin Ross a bit here. He talks some platitudes and vagaries, and you got to be specific. We can't just keep allowing these platitudes and vagaries.
You got to be specific, kind of like others. And car companies are coming, or they're going to, see revenue slow down. Oh, if you want me to dive into it, I can. Thanks, Gordon. You did the same exact thing, referring to other automakers and a lot of other things like that at the beginning of your argument. But anyways, let's not get to it. I think he really had those two words kind of written down, and he really, really, really wanted to use them. And so he makes sure that he used them right there.
Listen, Tesla is not, they don't have any competitive advantage.
Gordon, you just said the Mercedes has full self-driving, and it doesn't.
Yeah, they just reported weekly sales in China. Their weekly sales in China were roughly 6.7 thousand cars. That's just 38% of their capacity in China, despite massive price cuts. Their run rate demand in Q4 was about 1.75 million cars annually. That's half of their capacity, despite the fact they're only running their plants at 20% utilization.
Gordon, we're about to break our records in production and delivery. We're looking at 500,000 cars in Q1.
Hold on.
Ross, let me finish.
It's breaking down now. The lady's face is great as she's trying to keep up with both these guys. Sorry, I probably shouldn't laugh, but it's just things that entertain you, especially as these two, this kind of spirals out of control pretty quick.
BYD sells 4.5 times more cars than them in China. BYD is increasing prices in China. VW is increasing prices in China. Tesla's cutting prices.
Okay.
And not.
Yeah, a point right there. Yeah, the BYD story is nice. They're doing great. They're really expanding and growing. However, BYD can't cut prices because they have absolutely no margin, and they sell at a different price point than Tesla does altogether. So again, kind of mixing facts with apples and oranges. Using facts doesn't always mean that you're talking about oranges and oranges or apples and apples and such. So just something to kind of keep in mind there and such. Their margin, which of course, as an investor, I care about margin just the same or more than a lot of that other stuff that he starts discussing here. So just something to think about.
Filling out their capacity.
Well, let me just
the definition, the quintessential definition.
They've always exported cars from China.
Okay, Ross, you are actually, while you are a big Tesla bull, and I've known you a long time, and you have been, you also feel that it's necessary to announce this week to the company that you would like to run for a board seat, correct? What is your dissatisfaction?
Well, it's not about dissatisfaction. It's about helping Tesla go to the next level with a skill set that I have that I think Tesla needs and is necessary. And a board seat would be a way to implement these strategies. There's no question with all the fake news and the FUD that people like Gordon put out every day that Tesla needs PR and marketing so that the real story is told. Mercedes doesn't have a full self-driving solution, and it says it very clearly. You have to drive the car 30 miles per hour. Okay. Secondly, Gordon, I think Tesla has millions of new customers, and they really need to focus on the experience for customers. And I'd love to see a service and customer satisfaction czar take over at Tesla.
I would agree with that. Let me let Gordon.
And last,
oh goodness, yeah. I don't know. Tesla's managed to grow this brand without a lot of the things that Ross is discussing. I don't know. Obviously, he's pitching himself as obviously trying to get support from us as shareholders out here to kind of rally behind that and such. Some of the things he's proposing, I just don't think Tesla needs. And other things, maybe. It's, when Gordon, if he's talking about fake news and FUD and all that sort of stuff put out, one, it's put out against all companies all the time. So this isn't anything new. And two, I think whenever Gordon tweets or says something, I doubt very seriously, very few people take him, at his word or put a lot of stock in that and such. So, and I don't know if, he's talking about traditional marketing. I don't know if he's talking about all the other things that has kept Tesla lean and kept those margins high. And that honestly have separated themselves from that. Are we talking about introducing more bureaucracy and more of those type things that, Tesla's managed to A, avoid, and B, it's proven you don't need it in order to grow as fast as can be. How much faster does Tesla need to grow? How much more does that need to be told when, hey, we hit times, especially these, especially as these factories start to ramp and such, Tesla hits these points to where, folks are waiting 3 months, 6 months, 9 months for a vehicle and such that, all that stuff that he's pitching, it's kind of unnecessary in my opinion right now. Maybe in the future, maybe there is a need for something like that. But for right now, I don't think there's really a need for it because it just, they sell virtually everything they do. The wait is very, very short. Now if every, Tesla that came off the line sat in the lot for 3 months before it went to a customer, okay, we got a different argument there, but we are so far and away from that, and have been, and everything's working. I'm not sure we need anything right now. And I'm not sure if this is much more than just, trying to put a pitch out there, and he doesn't have much of a pitch to be on the board outside of this is what I could bring and this is what we could do. So kind of my thoughts there on that.
I'd like to see some succession planning because Elon Musk is a human being, and as Tesla moves into the next level, it should be very clear what path Tesla would take if, God forbid, anything happened to Elon.
Okay, Gordon,
So
would you vote for Ross if you had the opportunity? Do you think Ross would make a good candidate for the board?
I think Ross would be excellent. Look, Ross has never disagreed with Elon Musk. He's literally a cult member. He's saying things in this interview that aren't true. He's saying Mercedes doesn't have level 3.
How am I a cult member, Gordon?
Liability. I think Ross speaks in vagaries and platitudes.
See, he really wanted to use that word. I knew it. And is it me or is just Gordon look like he's been hitting the gym? I don't know. He looks kind of swole. Maybe it's the way he's like standing in the cat. I don't know. I need to work on that. Gosh, man, everybody's all jacked up except for me. I don't know.
He would agree with whatever Elon Musk made. I think he'd make a perfect board member.
Okay, quick, Ross, really quick, because Gordon started, you can end really quick.
Vagary and platitudes, I've decided.
Okay, Ross, do us a favor. Let us know what response you get from the company. And Gordon, we will continue to look at your research and have you both back. But again, the stock is on a power trip, at least today. It is now pretty much hitting session highs. Good to see you both. Thank you for joining us.
Hopefully we'll hit Gordon today. Hopefully we'll be up $20.
All right, well, we shall see. It's at $209.02 right now. Up next.
I just kind of wanted to bring that to you just to kind of show you how, one, Gordon's back and he still is just as ridiculous as ever. And two, to just kind of show you how, when we're kind of working through a lot of these arguments and such, there's not a reason that was given there from Gordon that actually made a lot of sense in terms of that story and such. And I think that's kind of what you got to keep in mind right now. Tesla's on a massive run. It's up, almost double, or is up almost double from the bottom there. But think about where the narrative was just a month and a half ago or so. I mean, it was Tesla's going to 60. Everything's in the toilet. Do they have demand problems? Do they have this? All of Gordon's arguments didn't sound that ridiculous a month and a half ago. And now here we are a month and a half later, and we're all kind of going, oh, yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's just silly. Based upon the stock price movement is the reason why you feel differently about that. That's the reason why I say you got to get emotions out of your investing and just eliminate them. Ignore them. It doesn't matter. You've got to just look at what's fundamentally going on with this company, regardless of what the share price is. I don't care if the stock fell down to 60. My thought on Tesla did not change one bit during the entirety of last year. Definitely thought the Twitter thing was a distraction, and obviously he had to do some selling and some other things in order to make that happen. Understand that was definitely a thing, but I also knew that would pass, and in the meantime, cool, it's going to be beat down. Cool, he's got to sell billions of dollars worth of stock, it felt like, to actually make that purchase and make it happen and such. It just one of those deals. I knew I had to work through it, and we had to work through it as shareholders. But fundamentally, everything was still performing underneath. It was just a stock price that wasn't. So you got to kind of get rid of that emotion, look at what's going on, and move on, because there's always going to be a bear case, regardless of whether it's way up, way down, and same thing. There's always going to be a bull case, way up, way down. Look at those fundamentals, see what it is, and then see if the share price is discounted or low, which means you should be buying more, or if it's overvalued and kind of the bulls are kind of running with the ridiculous narrative up over the top. Because for the Gordon of the world, there's also guys that are over the top of the world, which, hey, I guess we might as well go and let in the ultimate bull on Tesla. That's right, you guys. It's the Tesla bull. That's right. I'm back. I had to run away from Luke's security forces. Those stupid Finbots tricked me, but it didn't faze me one bit. I broke out in Switzerland and I ran across the ocean. That's right. Bulls can run across oceans. It's basic science, you genius. And speaking of genius, I didn't know chickens were bears, but apparently they are. And so are Australians with 3 first names. I mean, who the has 3 first names? And to anyone that talks about demand problems with Tesla, take a look at this line of supermodels lining up for the Tesla bull on a Tuesday. Science says that's the exact opposite of a demand problem. And guess what? That looks like the line to buy Tesla. So as you can see, it's basic science that Tesla is the best stock in the world because I'm the Tesla bull. I'm the Tesla bull. I'm the Tesla bull.